everybody's idea of the perfect chocolate chip cookie looks a little bit different. Maybe you like them cakey or chewy, or maybe you're like a crispy gal. Well, whatever your cookie style is, my first guest says there is a science to the sweet. We are rolling out a new series in the kitchen, and we're calling it Cookie Chemistry. We'll break down cookie chemistry behind 5 different styles of cookies to help you bake up that perfect cookie preference right in your own kitchen. Baker Madison Reid is here, and she's gonna be our teacher. I have to say, I think I lucked out on the best day of the week to come to Studio 5.
Yes, you're gonna take all the cookies home.
This is amazing. So we're gonna start, it's a series. You're gonna come back every month and share it of the 5 different ones. But today we are starting out with the bakery style cookie.
Yes, the bakery style.
So I don't know what that means.
Yes,
so
bakery style is kind of like a phenomenon. Like you have this thin cookie that's crispy on the outside, but yet really chewy and gooey on the inside. It's like, how does this make sense? But they're so good. If ever you go to your local bakery, they have those big flat cookies, and they're soft and chewy in the middle. That's what we're making today. Okay, so let's jump in. You say the chemistry and the science behind this cookie requires 2 different kinds of flour? 2 different kinds of flour, yes. So I'm gonna mix the ingredients here. I've already whipped up or creamed my butter and sugar, which is an important step in this process where you whip it for 2 minutes. That's why I did it before on air, because it takes way too long. And then you add some eggs.
Okay.
A little bit of vanilla, baking soda and salt.
Okay.
And then both cake flour and bread flour. So the reason why is because
we need 2
the
different
cake
kinds.
flour has a lower protein content, making it cakey and gooey on the inside. And then the bread flour has a higher protein content, making it very structured. So it gives that crisp outside. And then you just mix until the dough forms. You do not want to overmix once you've added your gluten or your protein and your eggs. And then we would just fold in these yummy dark chocolate chips. You always want dark chocolate chips with a bakery style cookie.
So it gives it a little bit of a richer...
Yes, there's more salt in this recipe too, so the salt with the dark chocolate chips just contrasts so well in the cookie.
That sounds like the perfect combination.
Yes.
Okay, now do we need baking soda and baking powder?
Thanks for catching that. I do have both baking soda and baking powder. The reason why is because they do 2 totally different things.
Okay.
So baking soda, it will spread it out and increase browning, but baking powder will give it a nice lift like a cake. So if you add both, you have both the spread and the lift. That's how it has another phenomenon, right? The crispy, but yet super gooey.
Okay, so that makes sense. In this cookie, we're trying to get 2 different textures. We need 2 different elements to achieve that.
Exactly.
Okay, so then we fold in our chocolate chips, and you say that the next step is making sure that we chill the dough.
I know it's hard to chill cookie dough, right?
It's
you just
hard
want
to
to put
wait.
it right in. You can have a little bite, but then chill your dough. The reason why you want to chill your dough is there's many reasons, but here's a few. One is it helps develop your gluten. Gluten is actually not flour, which is a misconception with everyone. Gluten is the reaction between flour and water. It's the byproduct of flour and water being put together. So once you've made your cookie dough, the gluten needs to be broken up. So you put it in the fridge, it breaks up, it's easier to digest, it's easier on your tummy.
So you won't get a bellyache from eating too many?
Exactly, you can have more. So you think of it that way. The other reason is to chill the butter so that it melts down slower in the oven, making the cookie not a big flat mess. And then the third really big reason is to melt the flavors. The longer you leave it in the fridge, the more flavorful your cookie is.
It's going to feel more cohesive.
Better. So it's just worth the 3 hours. You want to do it
that was my next question. 3 hours.
At least 3.
Can you go too long? If it is overnight too long?
Yes, no, you can with this one. That's a really good question. If you have both baking soda and baking powder, you can go up to 3 days. You have to have baking powder. The reason being is because baking soda only reacts 1 time. As soon as you get it mixed with your liquid and your acid, it puffs up, makes bubbles, and then it's done. But baking powder reacts twice. It reacts right when you put it in, and then again in the heat. So that being said, you can leave it in your fridge longer because you know that the reaction, the leavening agent will still react.
Wow, this really is chemistry. I love it. Okay, so once we've pulled it out of the oven and it's been refrigerated, then it's time to put our cookies out on the tray. And give us some tips on how we should do that to achieve this.
Big cookie scoop. When you are doing a bakery style, you don't want your standard cookie scoop. This is a 2 tablespoon cookie scoop. You want a large cookie scoop. So and once you just have to scoop it in, and then I just press and take off any of the excess. The reason why you use a cookie scoop is so that every single cookie is the same size and melts down and cooks at the exact same rate in the oven.
Oh, that makes sense.
If you don't use a cookie scoop, then you have some that overcook, some that undercook. It's not, this is, baking is a chemistry.
So just invest in the cookie scoop.
You have to have a cookie scoop.
Okay, makes sense. So then when we bake them, what's the trick to baking it to make sure that it comes out looking like this?
Yes, so there's a few tricks. Number one, always make sure you have a light metal pan. There's a one underneath here.
Okay.
So a light metal colored pan.
Okay.
Parchment paper, that helps the heat be very even and it don't overcook the bottoms. Notice the bottoms of these cookies are not too overcooked.
Oh, yummy.
And then you take them out not all the way done. You take them out a little bit undercooked.
Okay.
You should do this with all cookies. Let them come out a little glossy. It's okay. Leave them on the hot pan for another 5 to 10 minutes. They will continue cooking slower.
Okay.
And then you get that undercooked middle that everyone loves in a cookie.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think
you need to try one.
I think it's only. Oh yeah, look at that. So yeah, we got that nice firm edge, but then it's got that gooey, yummy
it's
middle.
going to be chewy in the middle.
All right, Madison, this is amazing. So this is just one of 5, right?
Yes,
so
we're gonna
next
go over
month you're
5.
going to come back and you're going to give us another cookie. It's the classic chocolate chip cookie.
Classic cookie is like your grandma's cookie recipe, right? It's those smaller, really fluffy cookies, totally different than the bakery style and just as delicious. It's just, I feel like a lot of people feel like their recipe is a fail because they're expecting a different type of cookie than it's meant to yield.
That totally makes sense. This is so helpful. Where can we find your recipes and more of you online?
Yes, so mrsmaddie.com is my blog. You can find all my recipes for free, all the links of everything I use, the chemistry. I have a little chemistry blurb on the top of all of it. It's very fun and educational and just, you can find all there.
Thank you. I really feel like I learned a lot today, so that was amazing. I can't wait for next month. I hope that I am scheduled to be here when we do it.